Hi there. I'm Carolyn Smith, Director of Operations for Under the Influence Ministries, and also the Crusade Director, one of the Crusade Directors for that ministry. My husband Jim and I do a lot of traveling with the ministry and personally, and it has occurred to us that we have a lot of information that might help you out on your next missions trip or international travel. So, without further ado, here are some basic things that we always bring on our trips. Of course, number one, we bring our passport. We use global entry because it makes it easy to get back into the United States quickly. It also makes it easy to pass through security screenings because you automatically get TSA pre-check if you have your global entry number on your ticket. So it saves us so much time. I don't know why we would ever do travel without it in the future. For now, it's every time we travel, we use it. Anyway, beyond that, let's go ahead and go through some basics. Always bring your phone. We always bring a phone. If you have the ability to bring a cheaper version of your phone with just the old one sitting in your top dresser drawer, grab that one, put your SIM card in, use that one. And the reason you would do this is just so that you aren't targeted by people who look for Americans, think we're all very wealthy, and have things that they want. So yes, your phone. The next thing I always have on my phone is Google Translate, so that if I don't have words for talking with people in really authentic ways in the places we visit, I can go ahead and type it out on Google Translate and have conversations back and forth. My husband, Jim, loves this and uses it all the time. The other thing that I would definitely download onto my phone, if you haven't already, is WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is like a combination between video chatting, texting, sharing photos and videos. It's really a fantastic app, and it's used worldwide. It's almost as common as soccer for a phone user. So definitely download WhatsApp. If you're going to share like photos and videos with people back home, like you're going to use them later, I would actually download Telegram and have them download that as well, because that will allow you to share higher resolution images. So just my 2 cents worth on that. But yes, your phone, remember your cords, your charger, your power bank. The one that I have here is a little bit higher capacity. It's like a mega charger. Unfortunately, in 2025, the big capacity power banks are no longer being allowed on some airplanes. I haven't been stopped with this yet, but it's early in the year, so I am shopping for another one. I know that they're, I want to say 100 hours or less, and this one is around 120, I think, or 140. And some airlines will let you bring it. You just have to have it checked ahead of time. Other airlines don't care. Just check your airline and see what their data bank requirements are. But we always go with that. Another thing I always bring along is a data blocker. And this is basically something that you stick into a charge port there at the airport before you plug your phone in. And it's missing the little port that's used to move data back and forth. And the reason this is important is there's something known as juice jacking, which has begun in recent years. And basically you plug in, but someone's put a device, just a little thin thing, into that charging port. And while you're charging your phone and thinking things are great, they're actually pulling your data. So maybe it will never happen to you. I just make sure it doesn't happen to me because I have a busy life. I don't want to spend extra time figuring out what to do about lost data and whatever someone decided to do with it. So there we go for that. One more thing as far as, just being safe with your security. I always keep a travel wallet. I have, jackets with interior pockets so that I can carry passports and tickets and things like that. But another thing I carry along just in case I can't wear that jacket or that shirt is this one goes around my waist. It's a travel belt. This one's sold by Rick Steves. Super economical, stretchy for when you eat too much of whatever in that land. Also, our good friend Dean Gosen uses one that goes around his neck. You can purchase those online at Rick Steves or on Amazon and get, just get in a few days. But super handy in an airport, because when someone needs to see your passport or your ticket, you can pull that wallet out of your shirt. Go ahead and, give them your ID. They see it. You put it right back in, tuck your wallet back in, and you're safe and good to go. So that's the last of the items for just data and safety. Now let's go ahead and talk about what we do for comfort, because most of the trips that my husband and I go on are several hours long. Like, if we're going to Brazil, it may take a full day to travel just for the airfare. It might be like 18 hours, it might be 25 hours, and then we have the bus ride, and we have, just so much transportation. And so you want to be comfortable while you're doing your travel. One of the things I do, I always make sure I moisturize before I get on the plane, because the little bit of vibration that you get on your air trip, that's what kind of gives you the buzzies. You get kind of antsy in your seat and can't quite sit still. It's because those tiny vibrations it's basically tickling your skin. So wear your like natural fiber clothing, make sure you're moisturized, drink a lot, and water, drink a lot of water. And that's going to help a great deal. I also, flying. Okay, I'm going to leave that in. I'm not taking that out. That was my chapstick. I always bring a chapstick along just because the air is so dry. Also, something I bring to freshen up before I leave a long flight like the ones to Brazil. I'll bring my toothbrush along and maybe a comb. Maybe I'll even bring a few wipes, just so that I can freshen up before I get off the plane and I feel as good as I'm going to feel for the next portion of the journey. Another thing I bring, like if you bring noise canceling headphones, that's great, but I would bring something to block out noise, because inevitably there's a crying baby or someone who talks really loudly or just something interruptive that you don't really want to be any part of. So I bring 3. I always bring 3 earplugs, so that if I do drop one onto the dirty, nasty floor, I'm not crying like the baby beside me. Keep them in a clean case so that so they don't get nasty during travel. So yeah, that's about it for travel. Another thing that most people will bring is some kind of a sleep mask. I have a travel jacket that has a big hood, and I can pull it down or actually zip it all the way up so I can block out light. Another thing I do is I sleep better, especially if I'm in a different place. I sleep better with a cute little hat on, keeps the warmth in, but I can pull that down too. I can pull it over my eyes, and that way I can still see out if I want to, but it just takes off a little bit of those, the light coming off of those lights on the airplane, and helps me to sleep a little bit better. So those are the things that I always bring along for my flights. Now, finally, once you've landed, you're in a different living situation. This is the last part of the video. Just to handle the rustic or different type of living than you're used to. One of the things you're going to notice is the plugins are different in the country you're visiting than the United States, probably. Like, unless you're visiting Canada or Mexico, this is your situation. So here's a funky 3-prong. This is the type of prong that you'll see in Great Britain, Ireland, Africa, Hong Kong, Singapore. 3 prongs, kind of looks like a heavy duty US one. This is kind of an interesting one. This one you're going to see in Australia, China, Fiji, and New Zealand. And then finally, this is the one that you're going to see in Brazil. You'll see it in Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean as well. So there are 2 different things that you can do regarding this. Well, I guess there are 3. You could just go ahead and buy new things when you're there, but that's not really cost effective, and it's kind of a waste of your time too. But you can get a travel adapter, or you can get a travel converter. I strongly recommend the converter, and the reason for it is this. This is an adapter. You can see you can plug anything into it. So cool. And if you look on the back side, when you push one of these buttons, see, there's your Brazil connection, Europe. Here's another connection. There's your UK, and here's a US connection. So obviously, like, this will go anywhere from any country to any country. The problem with this is that this adapter does not convert voltage. You need to have, if you're going to use this on a device, any device you use this for, must be able to support dual voltage, the 100 or 240 volt system. So you're going to need to check the labels on your devices, like your hair dryers, your curling irons, your CPAPs, things like that. Otherwise, this, as wonderful as it is, you would still need to plug it into something to convert your voltage. So what I have here is a converter. There are converters that look like this, nice and small, don't take up a lot of space, but this is my Old Faithful. It's a little bit bigger. I like it. I can still plug USB into it. You can find some that plug USB A or C, as well as the regular plugins, and I'll have a link for that for you. But basically, this little plug-in will fit into whatever you need it to adapt to. You plug that into your local power supply and plug your devices in as you normally would, and you're good to go. So super good. Another thing, I get teased about this, but I will tell you, I almost always use duct tape. Almost always. This is great. It makes great rope. It can fix shoes. It can, tape up a garbage can onto a table or something. It can take care of your poster. I can't even tell you how many things I've used this for, but I can tell you that there have been very few, I'm saying maybe 2 or 3 trips that I've ever been on that I brought this and haven't used it. So there are times I brought just a little and needed more, but there's never been a time where I've thought, oh, I really wish I didn't bring that duct tape. So another thing I bring on every trip, I bring a pen and a Sharpie. And the reason for that is simple. You're always going to need to write a note. If you need to fill out your forms for, immigration, that kind of thing, you're going to need a pen. I always bring either a black one or a blue one. And then I always bring a Sharpie, because if I need to mark something, put my name on it, a Sharpie shows up. It's permanent, perfect for every situation. Another thing, when you're flying, let's reel it back. Okay, you're on your plane. When you're flying, remember, sometimes you're given earplugs for movies or whatever. Sometimes you have your own. If you need to bring an adapter, remember that. Okay, now we're fast forwarding. Okay, back to the hotel. If you go to Brazil, you are not going to see many of these hangers of any sort. You are not going to. I am so sorry. It's true. You're probably not even going to see a closet. You might see like this little hook on the wall. Maybe you'll see 2. You've gotten lucky. Those hooks are actually the closet. Those are the hooks where you would hang hangers if you had any. Otherwise, you're just going to hang your clothes, or you're going to keep them stuffed there in your luggage, which is no fun at all. So my husband and I, after our first trip to Brazil, where we together shared one hanger for 10 days of travel, decided to purchase some nice travel hangers. And these go with us on every trip, even if it's domestic. We went to Breckenridge last week. We brought a few of these just in case. You never regret bringing them. So just saying that. What else? I guess I said it once before, sometimes I'll bring wipes. I will say, when you go through security, sometimes you'll get stopped for these, and they'll wand them because of the fact that they contain liquid. And so even though they're absolutely travel safe, sometimes that slows you down. If you're with a group of travelers, you may be a more hated traveler if you are one of the people bringing these, because if you have enough people bringing stuff that has to get checked, really slows down progress. Just saying. So anyway, if that's you, Grace. I love bringing them. I'm just saying, if you're traveling with a group, see who's willing to bring them, and then you don't have to. So anything else? I don't think anything else. If you're on a missions trip and you have not done this yet, of course, download your Bible on your phone as well. With that, I hope you have a fabulous trip. I pray that the Lord is with you on every step of your journey, that you feel his love, his presence, and just his joy over you in everything you do for that. And I hope that you flourish and thrive in your journeys. God bless you. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine on you. May he be gracious to you, look upon you with favor, and give you his shalom. God bless you. Have a great, great trip.